Welcome back to AI After Dark. Last time we kind of explored AI that's like lurking in the everyday, those sneaky ads that follow you around, or your spam filter that just seems to always be working overtime. Well, this time we're cranking up that wow factor a little bit, and we're going to dive into AI creativity with something called generative AI.
That's right. We're talking about AI that doesn't just analyze stuff, but actually creates. Think art, music, even computer code, all based on the patterns that it learns.
It's kind of like teaching a computer to be this ultimate artist, composer, maybe even a programmer, all kind of rolled into one, right? So where do we even begin to unpack all of this?
Okay, so picture this. You were chatting with a computer back in the 1960s, and it's surprisingly responsive. It was called Eliza, a very early chatbot. I know it was simple, but groundbreaking for its time.
So wait, are we saying that those kind of clunky chatbots that we sometimes encounter online, they actually have a vintage ancestor?
Exactly. Eliza, while rule-based and limited, was a stepping stone to what we have today. It showed us that machines could mimic human conversation even back then. Fast forward to the 1990s, and things get seriously interesting with something called deep learning and something else called neural networks.
Neural networks. Those are those brain-like structures that we hear so much about these days, right?
Yeah.
How did they revolutionize AI?
Imagine teaching a computer by just feeding it tons of data, allowing it to kind of learn and adapt like we do. That's what deep learning and neural networks allow us to do, mimicking the complex workings of our very own brains.
So it's almost like giving AI this brain boost.
You could say that, but the real game changer came about in 2017 with something called the transformer architecture. Imagine reading a book, one word at a time, versus grasping the entire meaning of a paragraph. Transformers allowed AI to process information like that, understanding whole sequences of data at once. This allowed for richer insights.
So it's like going from AI, seeing individual musical notes, to actually comprehending an entire symphony, which I guess brings us to the AI superstar that's been making all these headlines, ChatGPT.
ChatGPT, the chatbot that took the world by storm, released in 2020. It gained something like 1 million users in just 5 days, showing us just how much we crave AI that can converse and create.
It's like the AI equivalent of going viral overnight. I remember experimenting with it when it first came out. I was just amazed by how it could write poems, scripts, even computer code, and all in this conversational way. It almost felt like having a creative brainstorming partner.
ChatGPT is really just the tip of the iceberg here. There is a whole galaxy of generative AI tools out there, ready to unleash your creative potential. Let's start with text generation. I mean, that's ChatGPT's domain, right?
Right. Let's fire up those word processors. So besides ChatGPT, what other tools are kind of haking up the writing world?
Well, think Jasper, Copy.ai, and WriteSonic. They're all powered by advanced language models like GPT-3, Bard, and LaMDA. They can assist with everything from crafting catchy marketing copy to even generating ideas for your next novel.
Hold on. Did you just say these AI tools can actually help me write a novel?
Absolutely. They can analyze existing text, they can learn your writing style, and even suggest plot points or character dialogue. It's almost like having a co-author who never sleeps.
So it's not just about AI churning out content. It's about sparking new ideas and working with AI to refine them. That's pretty impressive.
Speaking of impressive, let's move from words to visuals. Let's explore DALL-E 2, the AI artist that's been turning heads.
DALL-E 2.
Yeah.
The one that creates art from text prompts, right? I've seen some of those images online.
Yeah.
And they are mind-blowing. It's like watching imagination come to life on this digital canvas.
Exactly. Imagine typing in, a surreal underwater city illuminated by bioluminescent jellyfish. And DALL-E 2 paints that for you in vivid detail. It's like having a personal art studio right at your fingertips, powered by AI.
And DALL-E 2 isn't the only player in the AI art game, right?
Not at all. We've got Midjourney creating fantastical imagery, Stable Diffusion generating photorealistic scenes, and Artbreeder blending different styles and concepts. The variety out there is incredible.
It's like having this entire art history movement happening in real time, and all thanks to AI. But wait. If AI can conquer text and visuals, what about code? Can it really write software?
It absolutely can. Tools like GitHub Copilot and OpenAI Codex, they act as these coding assistants, suggesting lines of code in multiple programming languages. It's like having a super efficient coding buddy who knows all the shortcuts.
So instead of programmers spending hours debugging code, AI can streamline the process and make it more efficient.
Precisely. It can even help translate code from one language to another, making collaboration between developers smoother than ever before.
That's incredible. It sounds like AI is changing the game for programmers, giving them more time to focus on creative problem solving and innovation.
Speaking of innovation, Let's shift gears from the technical side of things for a second and explore some real-world examples of generative AI in action.
Okay, give me the highlights. How is generative AI already shaping our world?
Well, think about Netflix for a second, the streaming giant that keeps us all glued to our screens. They use AI to analyze your viewing habits and generate those personalized recommendations. You know, the ones that keep you hooked and engaged?
So those because you watch suggestions aren't just random. There's an AI behind the scenes learning my tastes and predicting what I'll want to see next.
Exactly. It's generative AI working behind the scenes, shaping our entertainment choices, and subtly influencing our viewing preferences.
That's both fascinating and a little creepy. It makes you realize how much AI is already woven into our lives, even in ways that we don't always realize.
And it's not just limited to entertainment. Think about the world of product design. Generative AI is now being used to design everything from sleek new cars to cutting-edge medical devices.
So AI is becoming a designer's best friend.
Absolutely. It can analyze a set of parameters like weight, strength, and materials, and generate countless design possibilities, often coming up with solutions that human designers might never even consider.
That's amazing. It's like having an AI brainstorming partner who can explore every possible design permutation in seconds.
And the results are pretty mind-blowing. Imagine lightweight, fuel-efficient airplane wings designed by AI, or prosthetic limbs that are more comfortable and responsive, thanks to AI-powered design optimizations.
It sounds like generative AI is not just about aesthetics then, but about pushing the boundaries of what's possible in design and engineering.
And that's just the beginning. We haven't even touched on the world of virtual influencers, those AI-powered personalities who are becoming brand ambassadors and blurring the lines between reality and virtuality.
Wait, so those perfectly curated Instagram feeds and those influencer personalities, they might even be real people. It's like a digital version of The Truman Show.
It is pretty wild. AI is powering these virtual beings, creating content, engaging with followers, and even promoting products. It's a whole new frontier in marketing and brand engagement.
And it raises a lot of questions about authenticity
Ah.
and the future of how we interact with brands. It's like we're entering this world where the lines between reality and simulation are becoming increasingly blurred.
And that blurring of lines is even extending to filmmaking. Remember Netflix's short anime film, The Dog and the Boy?
I vaguely remember that one. Wasn't there something unique about how it was made?
AI played a key role in creating the background art for the film. Instead of relying solely on human animators, they used AI to generate stunning landscapes and cityscapes, freeing up the artists to focus on character animation and storytelling.
So AI is literally helping to create the worlds we see on screen. That's incredible. It opens up so many possibilities for filmmakers, especially independent creators, who might not have the resources for traditional animation.
Exactly. And this is just the beginning. Imagine AI helping to generate entire movie scenes, or even collaborating with directors to develop storylines and characters. The potential is truly mind-boggling.
This is all so fascinating. But we can't ignore the ethical elephant in the room here. With AI creating art, music, even influencing our choices.
Yeah.
What are some of the potential downsides we need to be aware of?
You're absolutely right. Generative AI raises some important questions about responsibility, ownership, and the potential impact on society.
Okay, let's unpack some of those concerns then. What are some of the key ethical considerations we need to address as generative AI becomes more powerful and pervasive?
Well, one big question is around intellectual property. If AI can create art or music that's indistinguishable from human-created work, who owns the copyright? The programmer who developed the AI, the person who provided the prompts, or the AI itself?
That's a tricky one. It challenges our existing legal frameworks and forces us to think about how we define authorship and ownership. In this AI-driven world,
And then there's the issue of bias. AI models are trained on these massive data sets, and those data sets can reflect the biases and prejudices that exist in society.
so if the data used to train AI is skewed, the output could perpetuate those biases, leading to discriminatory or harmful outcomes.
Exactly. It's crucial that we develop mechanisms to identify and mitigate bias in these AI models, to ensure that generative AI is used ethically and responsibly.
It's like we need to build safeguards into the technology itself to prevent it from amplifying existing societal inequalities.
And we need to be mindful of the potential impact on jobs. If AI can create content, write code, and even design products, what happens to the humans who currently do those jobs?
It's a valid concern. Could we be heading towards a future where AI displaces human workers in creative industries, leading to economic and social disruption?
It's a complex issue with no easy answers. Some experts argue that AI will simply augment human creativity, freeing us up to focus on higher-level tasks that require uniquely human skills. Others worry about the potential for job displacement and the need to rethink our education systems and social safety nets to adapt to this changing landscape.
It feels like we're at a crossroads. Generative AI offers incredible possibilities, but it also presents us with some tough choices about how we want to shape the future of work and society.
And those choices will require thoughtful debate and collaboration between policymakers, industry leaders, and the public. We need to be having these conversations now, while the technology is still relatively new, to ensure that generative AI is used for good and benefits all of humanity.
So it's not just about marveling at the technology, but about taking responsibility for its impact and guiding its development in a direction that aligns with our values.
Exactly. We have a unique opportunity to shape the future of AI and ensure that it enhances our lives and helps us build a more equitable and sustainable world.
This has been an eye-opening deep dive into the world of generative AI. We've gone from the early days of chatbots to AI that can create art, compose music, and even write software. It's truly mind-blowing to think about how far this technology has come in such a short time.
And we're just scratching the surface. The future of generative AI is full of possibilities, both exciting and challenging.
It feels like we're on the cusp of a new era of creativity and innovation, one where humans and AI collaborate to push the boundaries of what's possible.
But as we navigate this uncharted territory, it's crucial that we do so thoughtfully and ethically, with a focus on harnessing the power of AI for good.
Absolutely. Before we move on to exploring the potential impact of generative AI, is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners?
Yeah.
About the tools and advancements we've discussed so far?
You know, it's funny, we're talking about AI composing symphonies.
Yeah.
And like painting masterpieces. But some people still kind of picture AI as something out of a sci-fi movie, you know?
It's true. We're just so used to AI filtering our spam, or like suggesting products on Amazon. We almost forget it's even there. But when it starts creating things, it suddenly feels like we've stepped into the future.
It definitely challenges our assumptions about what machines can actually do. And it kind of makes you wonder, what does original even mean anymore? Can a computer truly be inspired?
Oh, man. Those are questions philosophers have been pondering for ages, and now we're asking them about machines. It's like we're holding a mirror up to our own creativity.
Exactly. By trying to recreate the human mind in AI, we're learning more about ourselves in the process.
Maybe we'll even uncover some new insights into how our own creative sparks ignite.
Or maybe we'll realize that true inspiration is more than just algorithms and data. It's that unpredictable magic. That happens when the human mind connects with the world around it.
Oh, that's a beautiful thought. It really makes you wonder, can AI ever truly feel the inspiration that drives human creativity?
I guess that's the big question, isn't it? But while we ponder that, we have this incredible tool at our disposal. So let's talk about using it responsibly. We've touched on some of those ethical concerns, but what are some practical steps that we can take?
That's a great point. It's not enough to just be amazed by the technology. We need to use it wisely. So where do we even begin?
Well, for developers who are creating these tools, it's crucial to address bias in the data. If we're feeding AI biased information, it's just going to create biased output.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Mm-hmm.
We need to make sure that AI is learning from data that reflects the real world in all its diversity.
Exactly. And transparency is key here. When we see something online, we should be able to tell if it was created by a human or by AI.
Right. Because if we can't even tell the difference, how can we trust what we see and hear? It's like that age-old question. If a tree falls in the forest and no one's around to hear it, does it make a sound? But in this case, it's more like, if an AI creates a masterpiece and we can't tell it's not human, does it even matter?
That's a really thought-provoking analogy, and it really highlights the importance of being informed consumers. We need to develop our media literacy skills, question our sources, and verify information, especially in this age of AI-generated content.
It's like we need a supercharged BS detector for the digital age.
Absolutely. And we need to consider the potential impact on jobs. As AI takes on more and more tasks, we need to think about how this will affect the workforce.
Could this be the end of certain creative professions? Or will it simply change the way that we work?
It's a big question, and there is no easy answer. Some say that AI will augment human creativity, freeing us up to focus on higher-level tasks. Others worry about job displacement. and the need to adapt our education and social systems.
It seems like lifelong learning will be more important than ever. We need to be constantly evolving to keep up with this rapidly changing world.
Absolutely. And we need to focus on developing those uniquely human skills, like critical thinking,
Yeah.
creativity, emotional intelligence, the things that set us apart from machines.
So it's not about humans versus machines then, but about finding ways to actually work together, leveraging each other's strengths.
Think of it as a partnership. AI can handle all that data crunching and those repetitive tasks. This frees us up to focus on the big picture, the creative vision, the human connection.
It's like having an AI assistant who can take care of all the tedious stuff, giving us more time and energy to pursue our passions and solve complex problems.
And who knows what incredible things we can achieve together.
Speaking of incredible things, I recently read about AI being used to create a prosthetic limb that can be controlled with thoughts.
Yes, that's a fantastic example of AI being used to improve people's lives. The AI analyzes brain signals and translates them into movement, allowing the user to control the prosthetic with their mind.
It's like something straight out of a superhero movie, but it's real, and it's changing people's lives.
And that's just one example. AI is being used to develop new medical treatments, combat climate change, even create personalized education. The possibilities really are endless.
It's amazing to think about the potential of AI to really make the world a better place. But it all comes back to how we choose to use it.
You're right. Technology is just a tool. We have the responsibility to use it ethically and thoughtfully for the benefit of everyone.
And that means having these open and honest conversations about the potential impact of AI. We need to be shaping the future proactively, not just reacting to it.
I couldn't agree more. The decisions we make today, they will have a ripple effect for generations to come.
So what can our listeners do to get involved?
The most important thing is to stay informed. Read about AI advancements, explore those tools, and engage in discussions about the ethical implications.
Knowledge is power. The more we understand about this technology, the better equipped we are to navigate all its complexities.
And don't be afraid to experiment. Try out some of those generative AI tools we've talked about. See what you can create. You might discover a hidden talent or a new passion.
Or just have some fun playing around with the technology. There's no harm in that either.
Absolutely. It's all about exploring and discovering, and who knows what amazing things we'll uncover along the way.
I'm excited to see what the future holds. It feels like we're really on the brink of something truly transformative.
We are, and it's up to all of us to shape that transformation in a way that benefits humanity and the planet.
Well said. I know you mentioned AI and autonomous vehicles earlier, and I'm really looking forward to our next deep dive on that topic. But before we wrap up this discussion on generative AI, is there anything else you want to share with our listeners?
I think the key takeaway here is that this technology is still in its early stages. We're really just beginning to understand its capabilities and limitations.
So it's not a question of if AI will change the world, but how.
Exactly, and it's our collective responsibility to ensure that change is for the better.
As we've been talking about all of this, I can't help but wonder what generative AI means for the future of education. If AI can write essays and even code, what skills will kids even need to learn to thrive in this new world?
Yeah, that's a question a lot of educators are grappling with right now. It's clear that just memorizing facts and figures is going to become less important, as AI can access and process information way faster than any human can.
So those late-night cram sessions for exams might become a thing of the past.
Exactly. The focus is really going to need to shift to developing higher-order thinking skills, critical thinking, problem-solving, creativity, collaboration.
The things that make us uniquely human, the things AI can't replicate.
Precisely. We need to be teaching kids how to interact with AI effectively, how to use these tools as collaborators and partners, not just replacements for human skills.
So instead of fearing AI, we should be embracing it as a chance to rethink education, to help kids develop the skills they need, to navigate a world where AI is everywhere.
It's about adapting and evolving, not resisting change, and about using AI to create a more equitable and fulfilling future for everyone.
Which brings us back to those ethical considerations that we keep coming back to. It's not enough to simply develop this technology. We need to use it responsibly and ensure it benefits society as a whole.
Absolutely. That requires ongoing dialogue and collaboration between developers, policymakers, educators, and the public.
Because the future of AI, isn't something that will be decided in isolation. It's something we need to shape together.
I completely agree. And I'm actually optimistic that we can rise to the challenge. Humans are incredibly adaptable and creative. We've faced technological revolutions before, and we've always found ways to harness them for good.
That's a hopeful thought. And it reminds us that we're not just passive bystanders in all of this. We have agency. We have a voice, and we can make a difference.
And we need to use those voices. We need to ask those tough questions, demand transparency and accountability, and push for the ethical development and use of this really powerful technology.
It's this ultimately. The future of AI is in our hands. It's not preordained. It's something we're creating every day through the choices that we make.
That's both a tremendous responsibility and an incredible opportunity.
Well said. So, what are your takeaways from all of this? What stands out to you about generative AI?
For me, it's the sheer creative potential. The idea that we can now use machines to amplify our own creativity, explore new ideas, and create things we never even thought possible. It's truly awe-inspiring.
It is. It's a reminder that we live in extraordinary times, a time of unprecedented technological advancement.
But also a time that calls for careful consideration and ethical decision-making. We need to be asking ourselves not just what we can do with this technology, but what we should do with it.
Because the choices we make today, they will shape the world of tomorrow.
And on that note, it's time to wrap up this deep dive into generative AI. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey of exploration and discovery.
It's been my pleasure.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to our next conversation, where we'll be diving into AI and autonomous vehicles.
That's right. Get ready to buckle up and explore the future of transportation. Until then, keep those minds curious and those imaginations firing.
And remember, the future of AI is in our hands. Let's shape it wisely.